This is a part of exposing our retail infrastructure for you guys to use and to take advantage of. And you may have heard of a few of these. You've probably heard of Amazon Marketplace. That's a service where you can list your excuse me, where you can list your products online on Amazon.com. And you've probably heard of sorry, coffee ground stuck in my throat. Thanks. And you've probably heard of Amazon Fulfillment. Amazon Fulfillment is a way that you can push your physical inventory into our logistics network, and we deliver on your behalf. This is a big part of Amazon's business. The third-party business for Amazon constitutes now 40% by units sold of the business that Amazon does online. Last year, over the holidays, this portion of our business grew by 40%. So clearly, the third parties are having some benefit from our site. This is all behind, the purpose of this is to make Amazon's customers your customers. And so what we do is we take a look at what we can do to offer services that will help our customers find products that will delight them and have experiences regardless of where those are on the web. These are valuable customers. They have a higher than average spend online, and so they're very valuable for us to take care of, and hopefully we can share those with you. Two of the services that we expose to share these with you are Amazon Product Ads and Amazon Payments. Now, product ads and payments are really designed to be used by you to drive traffic to your own site and to convert traffic on your site. The product ads is a function where you can list products on the Amazon.com site, and those products will be advertised to our traffic, and we can use that to drive traffic to your site. So they'll find your products, and they'll have your experience. When they get to your site, whether it's from that source or anywhere else, if you offer Amazon Payments, that's a way that an Amazon customer can use their credentials, meaning the shipping address and payment methods they have on file with Amazon, to pay for you, to buy from you. If you happen to use both of these services, we create an advantage by putting a special badge on the product ads so that they can see that you accept Amazon Payments on your site. We've made some changes to our technology in 2013 based on feedback we've received from some customers. One is that we no longer require you to tell us what the customer is ordering. The previous generations of our software worked like checkout functions, where you would fill a cart, you would tell us what was in the cart, and we would process the order on your behalf. To demonstrate our commitment to the payments business, we no longer ask you to share us with the information about what the customer is ordering. We only ask that you tell us how much to charge the customer, and then we'll place that charge on your behalf. We've also updated our UX to make it more mobile-centric and more mobile-friendly. One thing that's important to us in making sure that we're supporting your customer experience is to keep the customer on your site. So unlike some payment services that take your customer off their site, we don't whisk your customer away to Amazon.com. We don't put them into a generic order or checkout pipeline. We simply give you widgets that you can use to embed on your site with your checkout process that give a customer a secure way to view the information that they have in their Amazon shipping address book or in their Amazon payment methods. What is helpful for this is that the customer remains in the experience that you've designed. In some cases, you'll be offering things like gift wrapping as part of your checkout process, or you might offer live chat as part of your checkout process. And this way, you don't lose that when you send a customer to use a different payment method. I mentioned that our service is mobile ready. This is what our service can look like when it's implemented in an MDOT site. If you actually count the taps, you can see that you can get through a purchase process in as few as 3 taps and do that all from your mobile phone. In the third screen on there, you can see those mobile widgets, which are embedded in the MDOT page that you and your order pipeline have designed. One other aspect of our service that's important to many sellers is that we protect you from fraud. Since we understand the customers and their behavior, we're able to use the same technology that we use to protect the Amazon.com site to protect you. So anytime that a customer makes a purchase using the Pay with Amazon service, if that customer comes back or if there's an issue with a chargeback, Amazon absorbs the cost of the chargeback. That's because we're confident in the fraud technology that we use to protect those purchases. That was a brief overview of the Amazon payment service and how it's used with product ads, but for a very real version and a very material version of that. I'd like to introduce Brandon Proctor. Thank you.
Thanks for clapping. Appreciate that. Hi, I'm Brandon, and like Rich said, I've been with Bill.com for about 5 years. I've been fortuitous enough to have been there during a lot of growth, and it's been a very complex process growing with a company where, starting out with a team of literally a handful of people, and now having around a quarter of the company that is on your team. So, and I oversee web analytics, what I call customer analytics, which is business intelligence, all acquisitions, so paid search, organic search, affiliates, CSEs, display, email marketing, retention, loyalty, a whole slew of other things. And one of those things also is that when we're evaluating solutions like payment methods, for instance, that's something that still ends up having my involvement, at least my department's involvement, as we're going through design changes, et cetera. So that's a little bit about us. So as far as Bill.com is concerned, I mean, I don't know how many of you guys actually know about who we are. We are a top 100 internet retailer. We sell basically the lion's share of the products you need to do in-house remodels, so your bathroom, your kitchen, most of the stuff that normal individuals do. I mean, not the major stuff. We're not selling you stucco or concrete, but not yet. But these are what we focus on. We focus on the things that really are design or fashion for your home. And before I actually launch into this, I'll give you guys a little bit of history too. I mean, we were founded in 2000. First month of business, we actually did more revenue than Microsoft. We didn't maintain that trajectory, but it's been a wonderful run. And we actually only launched Bill.com 3 years ago. So before that, we were known as Improvement Direct, which is basic collection of sites. And Improvement Direct was just ambiguous, really long to type when you have to do your email address. Going from Improvement Direct to Bill.com, like, probably saved my hands from arthritis. So in 2010, we launched this brand, and it's been extremely successful. And when we did this, we wanted to move from a product-based experience with niche stores like a Faucet Direct or a Lighting Direct to a project-based experience where you're able to actually purchase the entire bathroom or the entire kitchen and all the products you actually need. So just so you guys know, I mean, we have massive SKUs. We are category leaders in our core, so plumbing, lighting, door hardware, ventilation. We are some of the largest online, period. Our selection is greater than even the big box guys. So as far as your ability to customize your home, this is, I mean, an example of some of the brands that we actually carry. So we recently launched a new site focusing on kind of the inspiration to installation, making sure that we were allowing customers to actually shop in a unique way, where they could look at their dream bathrooms or their dream kitchens, and then we link to all the different products, whether it be different manufacturers, a variety of finishes, et cetera, and making sure that everything actually ties together and people can actually purchase these. And then allowing people to actually go the other way. And we're doing this because we want to make sure that we're offering value beyond just selling products. We want to make sure that we are creating a competitive hedge against Amazon. So, which is, it's okay. These guys aren't evil. I mean, we know that Amazon is, we refer to it like every once in a while as the nothing. I don't know if you guys ever saw Neverending Story, but this is, credit goes to Chris, our founder, but he says the nothing. It's like that consumes everything. I think that one of the things that Amazon is doing that's really good is that it's forcing compliance. It's forcing a level of service that is better. It's forcing us to get better, and I think that that's where that's always an advantage. I mean, I think that it's helping to move along e-commerce and make all retailers better to some degree. Our formula for success so far, I touched on selection, but one of the most important things is also our customer experience. Whether it be personalization, A/B and multivariate testing, whether it be the online transactions or the offline, and having people available on the phone that are product experts, that are highly trained, that are able to actually walk you through an entire bathroom or a ventilation system or a kitchen for that matter. And everything that we do is data-driven, metrics-driven. We built the company on the success of our ability to actually do analytics and incorporate these things into our marketing campaigns and our merchandising and basically everything we do. And it's one of the things that, as retailers develop and evolve, I mean, these are things that are required. I mean, it's something you have to be able to have as a core competency in order to even compete with, guys like Amazon and others. So we implemented Amazon Payments about 3 months ago, or actually 2 months ago. And the thing that's key here is that, trust me, I mean, we view Amazon just like you guys view Amazon. Actually, how many are retailers in the room? Okay, good. And how many love Amazon personally? Like, you get packages to your house all the time. Because I do too. I do my deodorant, like toothpaste, everything, which is, except for my home improvement, that's all through Build.com, of course. So, and then how many as a business, like how many of you guys love Amazon as your retail business? Okay, got one, see? This guy's doing stuff right. 2, there we go. So I think there's a way that you need to approach. So as we go through this, realize that we have the exact same thoughts and the exact same hesitations when we're going through these. The reason why we launched with Amazon Payments is that, and I'll touch on all of these, but I think that one of the most important reasons is the anonymized order data, right? So we didn't want to make sure, we didn't want to give them everything and say, hey, well, this is what we're selling every day, and here you go. So I think that's a huge feature. And I think it's a step in the right direction for the payments product to ensure that they're at least establishing some trust with retailers to make sure that this isn't going to be used as a tool to gain more data. It's really, they just want to actually offer a better experience to the end consumers. So as far as the experience, and I think this is like the friction piece, having it on site, and then because almost everybody in this room actually said that they love Amazon personally and get stuff from them on a regular basis, which means that you guys probably log in to Amazon on a regular basis and probably know that password better than most other sites that you go to, with the exception of maybe like a Facebook or a social network of some sort, Twitter, et cetera. So the social login as well as like Amazon Payments, I think that's the huge value add, right? You just want to give consumers the ability to actually check out and really operate and pay in the way that they want to pay. Once again, we don't share the order amount, and I want to kind of walk through the actual process, but product ads, and I don't know how many in this room actually do Amazon product ads. Wow, that's a lot less than I would have thought. So product ads are actually a pretty good thing. We view them as like a comparison shopping engine. And privately, I'm not going to share exact metrics, but just know it's a very successful channel. It's something that is like buried at the bottom of the page, along with a whole slew of other competitors. But it can be extremely profitable for your business. It's actually a huge value add. So if you're not comfortable in actually participating with Amazon from a retailer perspective or marketplace, this is actually a great channel to participate in. So the thing that's great is that you also have badging for the Amazon Payments. So something like this helps to set your ads apart from a whole slew of other ones that are available. And this, of course, I'll talk about actual numbers, but this is a huge advantage. Now granted, if everybody gets Amazon Payments, then I say this internally all the time, if everybody's a rock star, then nobody's a rock star, which means that, nothing stands out, which means that it levels the playing field, and any increase you're getting in clicks or whatever else, of course, is normalized. But it's still a big value add for us today. This is, of course, our beautiful product page with this beautiful light fixture. And going through the process, like we have all of these in line. I'm assuming that most people actually integrate with PayPal, maybe like a V.me, even Google Wallet, which is supposedly going away soon. And then you can see that this is the process you're actually going through. You insert your Amazon credentials. You do not go off-site. And you go through. You get to choose your address just like you do with an Amazon that you want to ship to. It's already saved. And, of course, all of the credit cards you utilize, they're already saved. And for me, like, it's about convenience, right? It's not about me. I don't know. I have like 20 different passwords. And so sometimes I cycle through. And in certain cases, I get locked out of certain sites because I can't remember for the life of me. And this is something where, if it's on a regular basis, this is a high value to your customers because it's a choice. You can see, it's the same thing, reiterating the fact that it's seamless, it's in there, it's part of the actual design flow as well. And it's something that really just the friction that comes with having to create a new account in order to check out for first-time customers coming to Build.com or coming to any of your sites is something that's a huge value add. And You've got Facebook login, which gives you a lot of demographic information. There's like great stuff that you get there as well, and for creating credentials. But this is something that also has all of your payment information and all of your shipping addresses already stored. So everything's already done. And customers actually do appreciate it. On our product ads, we actually saw an increase in click-through rates by 4%, which doesn't seem like much, but it does have a big impact because this is a great channel to participate in if you view it as a CSE, or comparison shopping engine. People don't like acronyms all that much, so comparison shopping. So the one thing that's key here is that there was like a significant percent, like the adoption, and it's more just a choice, right? So people actually see that, and you'd think that there's going to be like this cannibalization that all PayPal customers, they're definitely going to move to Amazon Payments, or so it's just shifting the actual envelope, and there's going to be just more PayPal customers that use this instead, or maybe it's a Google Wallet or a V.me. But what was interesting about this transition is the fact that there was people across the board that are using this over other payment methods only because, and I'm not going to share actual numbers, but it's basically because everything's already saved. They don't have to go through the process of inserting information. I know that with Google Wallet, for instance, you go off-site. PayPal is not as seamless as something like this, and it just ended up adding a lot of value. And as far as like overall experience, this is our customers. We randomly measure our NPS score, Net Promoter Score, from our customers, and we give them the ability to actually offer feedback, so we can query and aggregate this information. And you can see that like a lot of people are commenting on the fact that they now have Amazon available to pay. So still converting with us. There are customers, but it's adding that convenience because we have people that, even though they're longtime customers, remodelers don't typically like do everything at once. It's pretty expensive to do house remodels. So they don't do like their upstairs bathroom and their 2 downstairs bathrooms and their kitchen all at the same time. There's usually like a little saving of money that goes on between these projects. And as a result, a lot of times they'll forget passwords or everything else as they're going through this process. So they'll create new accounts or they'll go through guests. This just gives them the opportunity to be able to remain your customer and check out in the way that they're usually checking out for the items they wouldn't typically buy from your website, but it still keeps them fresh and still allows them to be able to actually check out. And I think that's a huge value. Now, as far as Amazon is concerned, marketplaces and like FBA, Amazon Web Service, AWS, these are the third parties. Like, I think there's an approach at some point to how you actually go after these, and I agree 100%. I know that you guys as a business, it's a big scary thing for so many, but given the fact that marketplaces now, this is combined. So this is like Walmart, Best Buy, Newegg, Rakuten, worst idea ever, by the way, to change from buy.com to Rakuten. But all of these marketplaces combined are now 27% of all retail. So online retail, it's 27% of all purchases are done through marketplace. So if that's growing in a big way, that's going to be an opportunity. And I know that within retail, and you look at retail searches, now you got 30 to 40% of all retail searches actually happen on Amazon. So there is like the argument, there's creating the strategy on site to offer additional value, whether it be via inspiration or installation videos and adding forums and different communities and being able to actually create that hedge. But I also think it's important to understand that this is growing. It's not going away anytime soon. And there needs to be a strategy around how you approach all of these things. Amazon payments being aside, this is a value add to customers. It's a choice. It's something that we can choose not to do or we can choose to do. And with Build.com, we felt like this was something that would add accretive value. And so far, we're seeing it as a value add to our consumers. And everything else, it's going to be different depending on the retailer and or manufacturer that you guys are. And each one deserves its own strategy. So, and I have my own thoughts that I won't actually share, but I'm happy to do so privately. And that being said, questions?
Brendan, actually, when we were talking last night, he was talking about some of the things that they've done on Build.com that really create a great experience. And one of the things that we really value from Amazon Payments perspective is when another site, when another business can bring a really differentiated and delightful experience. That really adds to the overall, the overall proposition that we can make. And so you were talking about the content that you have on Build and some of the ways you really tune the experience around the product set that you offer. Do you have any thoughts that you can share around how you've done that to make it a kind of a unique experience?
Sure. No, I think that, as you're going through this, and we talked about kind of the inspiration piece, but it's also kind of the focus on categories. And I know that me and some colleagues had a big, long, I didn't even drink coffee, but I got something in my throat. So we had a conversation about this too, and some of that is like, as a retailer, like getting back to basics. Meaning some of the stuff is reevaluating even categories, subcategories, and going through and creating that kind of purchase funnel and identifying where that actual fall-off is taking place. So if somebody's in the path to actually purchase a faucet or a toilet, for instance, it's identifying like where you're actually seeing them leave. It's looking at like search query demand and seeing what people are actually looking for. It's going through the process of actually identifying what consumers are asking for so you can provide those answers. And a specific example that we were actually talking about, which is funny, is that I bought this house and we had, I'm going to say, hopefully I can actually say this. So I was using Build.com, everything was beautiful, wonderful, and then I get to toilets and I was like, oh crap. I didn't know what to, I didn't mean to use crap, but that was funny. So it was a knee slap. Yeah, it's a really shitty, a bad crappy business, sorry, I didn't mean to say that. Anyway, so we were going through this process, and when I got to toilets, I was like, I don't know what to choose. Because I had like toilets in this house. I don't know who owned the house before me, but it was like, they were like built for munchkins, right? So, and I don't mean to, hopefully there's not anyone, or not I'm just gonna leave that one alone, sorry.
Right.
So, basically, they were super short. And I just like, I used to play soccer, got knee surgery, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is horrible. Like, so I would sit down and I'd just be like it was the worst experience. So I had to get new ones. And I jumped on the site and I was like, okay, so what am I going to get? And it said comfort height. And I was like, wait, comfortable for who? And that was my option, right? And so going through this, it's funny when you go through this process about even reevaluating, like the industry says, this is what it's called, and everybody should know that, but it's not necessarily transparent to consumers. And I didn't know anything about this, so then we start reevaluating these and making sure that we're actually doing stuff by height, and we start changing the way that we're doing this. So maybe there's a height that's good for kids, and we show a different height range, and we show that comfort height is for people X height to X height. So you start actually simplifying things and making them more intuitive. And doing stuff like that, like really dissecting what you guys are doing today to make sure that things are more intuitive, are the types of things that you do to ultimately actually create that experience that is just not going to be replicated by some of the competition. Those are the key differentiators. Offering value from the customer service standpoint. I mean, our product experts, I mean, they're highly trained, they're fantastic, and customers rave about it. And it's something that isn't cheap. It's something we keep here in the US. We make sure that this is not outsourced because we believe that there's this massive value from having these people in office and making sure that we continue to actually improve that experience. Those are the types of things that are not easily replicated, and I think that those are some of the things that are very important as we navigate this ever-changing industry. So.
Yeah, and just to emphasize this point, it is hard to buy home improvement products online. A lot of times you need to feel the product. You need to see if it's going to fit the place you want to put it. And one thing that's really great about Build is they've got videos online, for example, that allow you to take a look at how the product is going to be installed. So it's some instructional content there. And all the spec sheets you need to figure out whether the bracket is the right size and whether the part is going to fit, whether the piece is going to make sense in your home. They're all there. And that's a fantastic way that Build creates a differentiated experience. And as far as I'm concerned, that's fantastic. That adds to the overall customer ecosystem. That adds to what ultimately an Amazon customer from our perspective can do is to have a great experience on Build site, enjoy that content, see their selection. Their selection is fantastic. And then by the time they get to the purchase process, the checkout process, we might as well make that as easy as we can. So they're a great partner, and it's really been exciting to work with these guys and launch in the last couple of days.
And
so,
yeah.
There you go.
Vice versa, yeah.
So do you want to field some questions?
Yeah.
I'm going to bring the mics. What lift, if any, did you see from cart abandons at the stage where you added the Amazon payment?
Cart abandons? You mean
Yeah,
an increase in conversions, basically.
What's that?
So an increase in conversions, so less abandonment.
Yeah.
I will answer that, but I will answer that privately. Yeah, I mean, as far as like to the business, dead neck, like the impact, nothing was negative on the business. So as far as the overall impact of actually having Amazon payments, because I don't know if you guys know this, we test and measure everything. So everything we run through, there's always an A/B test or multivariate test that we put in place with every initiative that we do. So we made sure that this was, in fact, adding accretive value to our end users before we decided to fully push live. So, but I can talk to you about that as far as like what the actual lift was. That was the same question. You guys actually added that. Yeah, no, we ran a server-side A/B test to make sure that we were randomly sampling up that recipe that contained Amazon payments to our users to make sure that we had that control in place. So,
one more question here: if somebody comes back to your site after they've ordered and wanted to log in and see previous orders, or if they've saved an order, are they using Amazon to log in and log out, or are they using your?
That's a great question. Yeah, and I should have covered that. So as far as like customer service, returns, everything, it's still all in our system. So they see everything. We're able to actually manage everything from our system. Like there's no difference with our level of support, whether it be Amazon payments or a credit card, which is that was very, very important to us as well.
We do offer a federated login system called Login with Amazon. If that's something that you'd be interested in, that's another alternative. Now that's something you could add if you want people to be able to sign into your site and have access to their account information using their Amazon login and password. That's another service that Amazon offers.
Did you see, basically now with your login and Amazon's login, the consumers have to do do two different logins, right? So at what point do they log or sign up for your account to keep track of their returns or customer service or one of those things?
Yeah, that's also a really good question. That is something that we get to address. I think that some of that stuff when it comes to your online purchases, I mean, ultimately this would be a great opportunity for like Amazon payments to allow, well, and this is kind of a sticky subject because of privacy and everything else, but eventually we would love to actually do the marriage of those two, right? So if that's the preference when it comes to their actual username and password, then we would love to actually give that to our consumers as like their preferred login. It's what they use all the time. There's nothing that drives me more crazy than going to a new site and then they say I got to do a capital letter and I got to do lowercase letter and I got to do a weird symbol and then I got to do like I got to 329 at the end or some. I mean, the combinations are insane, which means that now I've got the same password that I just like keep tacking more and more things onto the end of, and I think the more that we can actually unify that overall experience, the better off we're going to be. I would say the interim solution is just to leverage that, but also leverage like a social login, like Facebook login, to gather that information and unify those two databases.
Is your credit card rejection rate higher or lower with Amazon Pay?
Net, there hasn't been a difference between the two. The one thing actually is nice for some of the larger retailers out there, and I don't know if I should bring this up or not. Is American Express in the room? So I'm just going to say it. So American Express, when it comes to like fees and everything, it's actually cheaper for you as a business to run Amex through Amazon payments because of the volume they actually do. So that's a huge advantage and savings. Because when it comes to purchases, a few basis points here and there make a big difference.
Yeah, that's a good point. We have a very simple pricing model. If you want to look it up, it's all posted online. It's based on your volume on a monthly basis, but it's just one price. There's no extra charges for chargebacks, no charges for fraud protection, no extra fees like that. So it's just a straight fee, and it doesn't matter what the customer is using to pay.
So sorry, Amex. I saw somebody from Amex earlier. So, oh, there he is. Sorry about that. Okay.
So I had a question for you. Just some customers that come to us, when we talk to them and they are only using one payment method or two different payment methods. What is the thought process that you go through? Because I know at Build you offer the native checkout option that you have, which is with auth.net. You also offer PayPal, Amazon. You'll be offering V.me. What is the thought process for offering multiple different payment methods on your site?
It's giving people their choice. There's certain people that prefer to use one thing over another. They're not being forced to do anything, so it's a convenience factor. Now you want to make sure that you actually do it inline design-wise, which it doesn't confuse people, allow them to purchase in the way they want to purchase. But ultimately, if it's easier for someone because everything's saved within one location, whether it be like a V.me or Amazon Payments, there is a creative value to the end consumer. Even if you add, for those of you that actually only had credit cards available and then you added PayPal, you probably saw the same thing. There's additional value that comes from allowing people to actually use what they want to use as opposed to you dictating this is the only choice you have. So, yeah. It's like a device transition, right? It's like going from desktop to tablet to mobile. Allow people to actually purchase in the way they want to purchase. That's like the brick and mortar, online sales are stealing everything. But we're not going into brick and mortar stores and say purchase online. It's just a matter of choice. People want the ability to, because crazy work hours and everybody works more nowadays, oftentimes stores just aren't open at the time that they want to do their purchasing. So being able to do it late at night is actually a big value add. So same thing actually applies when it comes to payment methods. Some people just don't want to go through the process of logging in, doing stuff all over again and again. So,
does Amazon use the data regarding what's in the cart for future marketing efforts or behavioral targeting ads or anything of that sort?
They don't get access to any of that information. That was the only reason we actually launched with them in the first place. So we waited a long time. We started discussions how long ago?
Years ago.
It's been going on for a long time. Because we were like, there's no way we're integrating with you guys until we actually anonymize this information.
Well, it's a great question, and it's one that obviously we hear a lot. I think that the concern is that Amazon's going to take information that you guys have between you and your customer and use that for our own marketing. We don't do that. And I think that the only way we could prove it was by simply not asking for it and not getting it, right? So that we went in that direction, and I think that's the best for everybody.
Yep.
The other thing is that we actually try to push information back to you. So the customer information that you would normally collect during the payment process, the customer profile, that becomes accessible to you after the order's placed. So what our point of view is this customer came to your site, right? You marketed to them, you brought them to this site, and you provided the experience. This is really your customer experience and the data that the customer would have provided to you as part of your process and your checkout. We make that available to you. So.
One follow-up. Similar to Facebook social graph, do you have plans on sharing maybe behaviorals from Amazon to the
Well, that's a great question. That'd be a great feature. I can't comment on that. So what's that?
We would love that too.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I can't speak any more about the things that we're working on up in Seattle. So, yes.
What about bar orders?
Oh, international orders and transactions. Yeah. Do you have any questions on that?
That one's all you.
Okay. Yeah. So customers, wherever they are, if they have an Amazon account, whether they're overseas or whether they're in the United States, can use the service. So if the customer is located in the UK and wants to make an order on your site and have that shipped to their location, they can do that using their Amazon account. So that's how we support that.
I think that's unfortunately all the time we have, but hey, thanks guys.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah.